Okay, so we have something a little different today.
Yes, something new and exciting for the High Gravity podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to say we have our first phone interview.
Yeah, we're embracing technology. We are in 2025.
With a phone.
Yeah. So, do we want to do any fun intro for him, or just kind of, I don't know, put intro here?
Well,
and
I think
bring him on in a moment?
this is your gig here, Johnny. So why don't you take it away?
Don't put that kind of pressure on me. We'll start with this intro here. Wait, don't turn the channel. You've tuned into High Gravity.
The show where we talk about beer, brewing, and bullshit.
Where the only thing we take seriously is the next round.
So grab a glass.
Fill it with something cold.
And enjoy the show.
Okay, that was fun.
I'm so proud of you, Johnny.
So we have joining us today is Luke Purcell of Collision Bend Brewing down in Cleveland, Ohio. So I don't know if you can hear us right there. You want to say hi?
Me?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Sorry. Yeah.
How's it going?
I was waiting for my cue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. There's a lot of things that are very just kind of unrehearsed on the fly, and we just roll with it.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so Luke, I don't want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, then kind of your history in brewing. A little bit about that. We'll kind of wing it. We have a selection. I suppose actually I should start. So hold off everything I just said.
Oh my.
So kind of how this all came to be, I was down there last week, and I was down in Cleveland, Ohio, across the street from your brewery. And this is kind of a Pinterest story because it all started with a pallet. So there was one of the guys bringing pallets to the facility across the street. That was my destination that day. I saw your guy's logo on his jacket. The guy's name is Phil, so shout out to Mr. Phil there. Started talking with him. We did lunch at the brewery. Your guys' beers were fantastic. So I brought a bunch up for us to try here. And through him, he introduced me to you on our way out and back to the 4-hour drive home. So that's kind of all that. And we have some some beer descriptions here that we got from Connor, who sent me an email with those the other night. So shout out to him and the other staff who helped with that. We have 4 crowlers of different selection from you guys. And then I have a very special one at the end that I'm very excited for. And we were keeping that one a surprise for the guys here.
Oh, nice.
So I'll
This one or a different hidden one?
I've got a
different
special hidden one.
Oh, it's in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a crowler, it's a small can. But yeah, so that one, we'll get to that at the end. That one's I'm very excited for. But in talking with you, Mr. Luke there, I guess I'll turn it to you. What do you want us to know, or what don't you want us to know?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot to know, but you can know pretty much all of it. So the spot you guys were at was down in the flats here in Cleveland. It used to be a hot spot back when I was a younger man, and it was parties, bars everywhere, and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of died out late '90s, 2000s, so right around there, it kind of died out and it's kind of empty down there, and it sort of had some rebuild going on, and we are located in an older building. There's a lot of new buildings down there, but we are one of the buildings that was salvaged. It housed we're on the east bank of the flats, so we're on the east bank of the Cuyahoga River, we're right by the mouth, which empties right into Lake Erie.
Nice.
For everyone's perspective. And it was called a Watermark Restaurant when I was younger. It was like one of the more fine dining places down there. So I never went in there myself when I was young. It was a place I would walk by and like say, I'm going to be able to be in there someday. And little did I know it would be in the capacity of running a brew pub out of that location.
Yeah, you knew it was meant to be.
It was meant to be, right? It's a great spot. You guys were there. It's a great,
beautiful
spot.
place.
It's summertime. They got the great views of the river, and
for sure.
It's a good combo of industry and just water. The river's come a long way. I don't know if we really want to get all into the stories of the Cuyahoga River and the burning fire and everything.
The river caught on fire, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that it?
The Cuyahoga River caught on fire several times in the 1960s. I mean, this is a long time ago now, guys, and I could speak to that for all day. I started just a teeny little bit about me. Before Collision Bend, I started at Great Lakes Brewing Company, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, we do love
some
the Edmund
people in your
Fitzgerald.
area don't know that we have a Great Lake here. And so they used to question us why we would call ourselves Great Lakes Brewing Company.
We have
they think they own-
always talked about that. Like whenever we have Great Lakes Brewing Company beer,
Yeah.
we're always like, wait a minute, we're Michigan, we're the Great Lakes, damn it.
we own the Great Lakes. Yeah.
That's right.
I've encountered that several times in my
Nice.
career at beer festivals in your state. So always a good time and always
Hear
a
the
good laugh.
disdain for Michigan in
ever
your
bad.
state.
Yeah.
No, come on, craft beer fans have never been pretentious. Come on.
But I was like, I was surprised to know that people didn't even know that there was a Great Lake outside of the state of Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. At any rate,
Learn something
and
new
actually
every day.
we had a beer, and they still, I think, do make it occasionally. Unfortunately, it's a style I hope to see come back strong someday. Is the American Pale Ale? It's this style that I think really started the whole craft brew movement in the States here. So I hope that comes back. And we obviously still have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale that's strong. But other than that,
Yeah.
Pale Ales have been a tough sell. But ours at Great Lakes was Burning River Pale Ale. It was
Nice.
the big beer for us.
You know,
Yeah. So that was like,
I was gonna ask if you had a beer named after the Cuyahoga fires. Like I thought that would be
so
appropriate.
that was the one here. And in those days it was Great Lakes was one of the very few craft brewers around here. It was the first one in Ohio. So they kind of had that under, that name is known for them even now, even though they don't make it. I think they do make it in the pub. They don't package it anymore just because of the style being not as popular as it once was. IPAs have taken that over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I can speak to that Burning River and the river fires all day long.
Nice.
And coincidentally, yeah. So the short story of it is that it was several times that the river caught on fire. A lot of industry dumping a lot of stuff into the river. Someone flicked a cigarette in there. That person was from Minnesota. I've actually met that person that claims to have started the fire.
That's awesome.
I was at a beer dinner. I was hosting a beer dinner up in Minnesota for Great Lakes at the time, and some guy claimed that he's the one that started it.
I don't know if I'd want to admit to that.
He was very proud.
I don't know if I'd want to be proud either.
Yeah. So I know we had a river that did that up here, the Rouge River, a few times.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But the long and short of it is the river caught a fire probably a dozen times or more back in those days. And the one in 1969 was just the most infamous one because there was a group from the EPA in Cleveland at the time. And so they kind of took note of that thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
So it became a joke about Cleveland, but it also was a turning point in the country's history of like, let's clean up our act a little bit. And it actually was the beginning of the EPA starting the Clean Water Act.
Wow.
It's a turning point, and it's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Fast forward to Collision Bend, we were fortunate enough, the people that own our building is the Samsel family. Right across the street from us is the Samsel Supply Company, Rope and Marine.
That's what we were down there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they service the life raft on the dive boat I work on. And that's the.
So you were exactly across the street.
Yeah. The other guy, Sean, he part owner of Double Action Dive Charters up here in Michigan, and they have another boat in Indiana. And our boat in particular, we have to have that raft serviced every year. So we're down there twice a year to drop it off and pick it up.
Right.
And
okay.
I've always seen your brewery there, and it was usually I always thought it was closed. You probably was most of the times we were there. And
that's fun. We don't look open ever. You got to be on the river. The river side is the other side of the building. That's where we look open. You got to come up in a boat.
Yeah. I saw Phil standing out there bringing pallets over, and that's why I kind of joke. The Pinterest story. It was a pallet that brought this to where we are today.
Very cool. When you said you were across the street, I didn't pick up that you were actually across the street, like right across the street. That's so cool for the way we started this talk. That's great. So Samsel family was long history in Cleveland, and then most of it's down there with their rope and marine shop, and then Frank Samsel, who's the elder of the family, the father. He's, I think, in his 90s now.
Oh, wow.
Still going. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen him in a couple of years, but he and after these river fires, he donated a boat, which we have a beer named after. This was our connection at furthering my career into just being tied in with these river fires, like being at Collision Bend and becoming, friends with the Sample family. Frank Sample donated a boat, a big sturdy boat that he had converted into a river cleanup.
Nice.
It was like basically full of pumps and filters. And it was like this cat in a hat thing, like going down the river. It ran 24 hours a day for like
Dr.
5 years
Seuss
or
boat.
something like that. Yeah.
I could see it
was
too.
like just totally just part of the whole effort to clean this thing up. And
Yeah.
so I thought that's a very cool piece, and continuing from Burning River and, kind of laughing at ourselves. That was meant to be. And then,
Yeah.
so the boat was named Putzfrau. So we did a Schwarzbier, a German Schwarzbier called the Putzfrau, which is
Ooh, I do love
German
Schwartz.
for cleaning lady.
Nice.
Cleaning lady.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's that whole river thing. And
Nice.
the other little side note of the river, just get through this thing, is of the river fire in 1969. Other reason why it was notorious, that particular fire, even though there was a dozen or more, was because the article in Time magazine about the river fire that was written was in the same Time magazine issue of the moon landing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Which
So
was-
I'd
which
imagine a
was,
couple
and
people
maybe
read that.
Still is the biggest selling magazine of all time.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's Cleveland. That's like Cleveland luck. That's all that is.
I never knew a lot of its influence. I mean, I watched a lot of the Drew Carey show growing up, so I always thought it was just that.
Cleveland rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland rocks.
So, anyways, so we can circle back to some of that. So, because I know some of the guys, I think, are getting a little
Yeah,
parched here.
my glass is empty, and we're not
I think
drinking
this is the
beer at
longest
10
we've
o'clock
gone
on a
without.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, so
you know?
we'll have Jim. I have him with the descriptions that I got from Connor here. So we're going to go in the order that you and I discussed and suggested, and I'm going to have him start the Sunday off by a proper salute here.
Ooh, decent crack. Oh, no, it didn't pop all the way open. All right. We'll press it open a little bit there. All right, so we'll start off with the Lake Erie Sunshine here, which, based on the description we have, is an American wheat with notes of blood orange. Restaurant is on the river that flows to Lake Erie. We get great sunshine views from our patio.
So some of this was description, some of this was like tasting notes or something like that. He said,
Taking notes off of this Lake Erie Sunset,
"Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Yep.
You guys got a crawler of it?
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah." I picked up 4 crawlers from you guys, and then the 1 6-pack. You can go heavy on that.
Excellent.
Yeah, we
Ooh,
put
it's
one
got-
in here, don't we?
Oh,
got
yeah.
a nice,
Fresh as
like,
could be then.
Yeah,
it's got a
Lake
nice,
Erie
like,
Sunset. That was our. So that was one of the first on the first menu, the first beer list we had when we opened. 2017 April we opened down
Nice.
there, and that one. There was a bunch of people, not a bunch. There was a handful of folks that worked at the Watermark restaurant, which was our place, like I said before. And they worked. The one gal, she worked in the gift shop at Great Lakes, and when she found out we were gonna, use that building for our place, she was like, "Oh my God, I worked at the Watermark. You have the best views of the sunsets downtown of anywhere. It's the best patio." And I was like, "Oh, sunset. Oh, I have to do something." So even before we were even brewing, and when we were still just working and getting it going, building the place out, there's a lot of beers, as you know, probably. There's a handful of beers that are called Sunset, something Sunset. or
sunset wheat.
yeah.
That one gets confused a little bit sometimes.
That
So-
beer tastes like Fruity Pebbles. That beer's
And
it's a
being
little
from
sweet.
where you guys are from, being from the lovely state of Michigan, you know that there's a lot of breweries nowadays, and there's a lot of beer names that have been taken already.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, creating new beer
So
names is
it's-
fun and difficult.
What used to be probably one of the most fun things of our job as brewers was naming the beers. It's become one of the most difficult things.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
That-
you can't find one that hasn't been used 10 other times.
See, I don't know
You
if...
think you think you thought of something brilliant, and then you look it up and you're like, "Oh, well, there's only 10 breweries that have done that one already." So
So I'm not sure if Johnny mentioned it or not, but like we do our podcast here from Starcraft Brewery in Richmond, Michigan, and Daryl
Yeah.
here is the owner and head brewer of Starcraft craft brewery, and I feel like he does a good job with the beer names.
No,
like
yeah.
it's
Well, I understand what you say because you come up with some great ideas based on life or something that happened while you were brewing, and you name it and you look it up like, oh man, this is already out there. That was dumb.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like sometimes you're like you think of something so obscure and you're like, I can't. And then you find out there's like 3 of them. You're like, how did someone else think of this? Not my brain is the only one that thinks that way,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, so sometimes the trick is, as in with Lake Erie Sunset, is to take the name you want it to be, Sunset, because it's a beautiful view from our patio, and be very specific about what sunset it is. It's the Lake Erie Sunset.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little loophole we kind of can play into it. So I had this, and this is also, I don't know about you, but for me personally, it's kind of a rare occasion that you have the beer name before you have the beer. It's usually the other way around for me.
I don't know. For us,
I don't know.
we have so many beer names because we always make jokes. We have a board in the back that we just keep writing stuff down.
Yeah. I would keep a list too and I'll look back to it. But
And so the worst part
this
is
one might fit. Yeah.
The worst part is the stuff on the list. I don't think we've used very many of them because normally it's after we brew and we're joking something happened during the brew.
Yeah.
Whether someone burned themselves when we were making our pumpkin beer, so we called it the 3rd-degree burn.
Oh gosh, nice.
that's always how I've named beers. Like we had a wit beer that we made, and the grain bill, like when we got the grains, they'd given us the wrong grains, and it turned out, looked at the color, we're like, well, this shouldn't be copper. This was supposed to be, like golden. And, pulling out one little grain at a time from the mash there and tasting them. Was, oh, nope, this is the wrong one. And so we just called it, oh, shit, wit. And
Perfect.
It turned out really good. So we had to figure out which grain it was, and so that we could, make the oh, shit, wit again. And wouldn't you know it, the next time we made it, it got messed up again. So we changed it to, oh, fucking shit, wit. so the name just kept evolving.
We could probably all name a handful of our beers with those names.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's along the same note as the next. I don't know if you guys are ready to move.
Well,
on.
let's talk about this beer a little bit before we move on here. So it's a nice
off on the naming thing, but so the name before the beer, that's like Sunset. Got images of orange in my brain, and decided to go like, okay, that'll be a nice thing in our lineup, and approachable, lightly fruited. Personally, don't like to overdo it where the fruit is the only thing you're tasting. That's not just the way I like beer to taste like beer.
I would say beer first, fruit second. I agree. And it's got a nice golden color to it, like just a touch of haze from the wheat, but still got nice clarity. It's got a really nice like wheat aroma. It's got that kind of like sweet, spicy kind of wheat aroma to it, but beautifully crisp, nice, kind of just dry on the back end.
Not overly fruited.
Nope.
I like it.
And it's a great drinker. Like this one I could see, sitting on Lake Erie watching the sunset and having 8 or 9 of these.
Oh yeah.
and that spring that we opened was one of our nicer weather-wise springs here that we had, and it was that became an instant hit, and it's been one of our best sellers ever since. For 8 years we've been open. It's the first one we put in package. And we have a whole Sunset series now, or do different treatments or different fruits on it and stuff. So that one goes all year, and then we have a handful of other ones that kind of accompany it. And so it's out there. It's a popular thing for us. It worked out well. The whole thing.
I think that was one of the first samples I finished when I was down there. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I do a blood orange Hefeweizen. And it was how I started my now I've adjusted the recipe like I had screwed up. Again, it's the mistakes where it leads to the best beers. Like I had done 3 separate fermenters of it, hoping that just trying different fruits in each. It did like a grapefruit, a lemon peel, and then the third one came in a little low. So I was like, well, I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of water, a little bit of honey, and that one ended up being my favorite. It was thinner, a little lower ABV, and so it's like a honey Hefeweizen that, again, going back to naming, I call it Honey Hefner. Like Hugh Hefner. I didn't think anyone took the name Honey Hefner, so I'm pretty sure on Untapped I would be the only one.
It's probably there.
I think
It probably is.
I think that was one of his wives, wasn't it? Honey?
Yeah. One of his wives. Yeah. He only had 3 or 4 at a time, though. It's
right.
R.I.P. Hugh Hefner.
Legendary.
Absolutely. But yeah, this is really
So
nice. This could be.
I think that conversation, if I'm not mistaken, probably segues pretty nicely into the next beer.
Yep, that's just to say that was perfect story.
The
arc.
the old low Phil.
Yep.
Old low Phil. Yeah, you guys met Phil, so as you might guess,
Yeah, he was an interesting guy.
this was a mistake. This was a mistake brew. It was supposed to be something else that was that Phil was brewing, and we were at we have two locations. We have a production facility that on the east side of town in Euclid, Ohio. So it's about a 15-minute ride from the brewery where you guys were at. And Phil does most of the brewing downtown at the brew pub where you were. And he gave us a call out there. He's like, I forgot to put something. I forget. One of the grains he forgot to put in. And like, how far are you? You know, and he's like, pretty much done with the mash. So I'm ready to run off. And I was like, all right. Yeah, give us a minute here. We got to make up a new beer. And we're like, what yeast do we have on hand? And what this and what that? And so that we ended up with this kind of Belgian yeast, blonde, pale. What do we call it? What did Connor say in that one?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see on this one. So this is the Olo Phil, 4.8% ABV. So decidedly not high gravity. We're going against the name here, boys. And this is a light, crisp beer with subtle hops spawned from beer inventory incident in our canning process. We have lots of low flow fill cans which we can't sell. Also, brewer's named Phil.
Yeah.
And it's got a great, like, the aroma. As soon as I open it, I could smell it's got that like really resiny kind of like dank hop to it. Like it's wonderful aroma. Beautiful color too, like super clear, golden. Like, I mean, the clarity is top notch.
Yeah, that's what happens when you leave specialty malts out.
This, I think, was one of my favorites. I was trying to narrow. I think it was 12 or was it 14 you guys had on tap?
14. There's 14 handles downtown. It's probably 12 beers though. There's a seltzer that we do in house, and then
I didn't even see that.
There's a cider. There's also a cider that we do.
It was hard to narrow it down, and Phil gave us a sample of the farmhouse. I don't remember the title. It was number 1 though. That was so good, and I was mad at myself. I was gonna grab one of those, and I completely forgot.
Oh man!
But it was kind of between this and that.
No, I think you chose well. Like,
last minute I decided, screw it, I'm getting this.
Yeah, the flavor on it is like the aroma is like super bold. Like it's got that really like resiny hop forward, like that kind of like West Coast IPA kind of smell. Like you'd think like Torpedo or Pliny or something like that. But the hop flavors are actually a lot more subtle and a lot more balanced and not acidic. Just a touch dry, like it's
there.
It's a
but
drinker.
It's not an overpowering and not too dominating.
I feel like some really like bold IPAs, or even like Pliny or something like that. Like it's hard to want to drink more than one or two. I get that kind of like that hop burn from having like that too hoppy or too resiny beers. But it's nice. It's well balanced, and again, it's just like the first beer. I could see myself having 8 or 9 of these, like sitting on Lake Erie.
I can ruin your opinion of that one.
Some of that goes and I don't know your guys' take on how much you get into the hazies or how much.
It's a trend that I'm glad has faded away.
Whatever.
I'm glad the trend has faded.
But so like I agree. I agree to an extent. I was like, I'm an old timer in the industry, so I was like, what are we doing here? You know, when it first started.
Well, just having to cram that many hops in a beer is expensive. You know, you try to make even a small batch of hazy, and it's like, well, you got a whole pound of hops in this 5-gallon batch, so enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but in that, like, I also came around to it a little bit when people started getting better and understanding what they're supposed to be and coming and getting better at making them. I think there was a lot of bad ones at the beginning.
The market got super saturated, super quick.
And a lot of them just people weren't making them well, I thought, and some were, some weren't. But so I think I did come around to a little bit. But one of the things we did, I think, and I think this is something we all probably hopefully do, is even if it's not your favorite idea or whatever, when a trend comes along, you could still have takeaways of like, oh, that's
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
a cool way to hop a beer,
Well,
like
that's
all these late additions.
Some new techniques.
Yeah,
and-
that's what got me into brewing. Like, because when I first
Yeah.
started, like IPAs were kind of like, I don't want to say new because they're super old, but like IPAs were becoming like a thing people were drinking, and I remember I kept trying them, and I'm like, these are bitter. I hate these. Like, I'm like, I was like, I bet I could make an IPA that I like. And so I set out to make an IPA I liked. And then from there, it's like you drink enough IPAs, you start to be like, oh, well, maybe these aren't so bad. Or you just found ones you liked.
That
you know?
IPA trend, though, that you don't see anymore is those black IPAs.
And
I don't see those out there anymore.
we are big fans of black IPAs here. We keep talking about it. We have the grains, and we're going to brew one. But
Let's do it. Yeah, I like that black IPA too. We have one brewery here in town that still makes one packaging on a pretty regular basis. I don't think it's a year round, but
all right, let's get in the car, boys. We got to go down there.
they do a real nice one. So
I think it's only around a 3.5 hour drive there.
That's fine. Yeah, but I
down here.
I find
we'll
like
make one we can make one together.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're in.
I'm in.
I've got a great recipe, right, Daryl?
Sounds good.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we're making it.
That's
I like a good black IPA. And
This is a
and
black rye IPA too, so it's a little different, but like just interesting.
Our head brewer Ben won't like that idea. He's
Oh no!
but we'll make Phil do it.
Yeah, I'm a
We
rye.
like Phil.
I'm a rye boy. Like I like rye
every
beers.
time we don't want to do work with something like we love rye and beer. It's just it can be difficult in the brew house side.
Yeah.
It can make for a long day if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, it'll gum up the process if you use too much.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's fun. So I have to ask if there's a correlation. So Daryl has a brother named Phil. Does your Phil screw things up like their Phil does, it sounds like?
I'm going to say no comment on this one. It's recorded.
Yeah, leave that one be. Our Phils probably both listen to this, I'm assuming. So you got to be nice to our Phils. They do a good job.
You don't
right.
have to.
Yeah.
Oh, he's my brother. I can pick on him all I want. I just don't want to record it.
Well, he used
We
to.
always can point, like, if we need him to do something, we want him to, okay, dude, there's rye in this, you got to brew it. Like, we can always point to this one batch that we called low fill for him. Like, dude, you're still paying the price for that.
I love it.
So, so that's where that one all came from. That's the fun things, and that's the fun stuff that sometimes come up with something good on the fly. I don't know how many beers I've made where I'm like, oh man, I gotta make up a beer on the fly here,
Yeah.
and it ends up to be trying to save it so you can. Hopefully it's sellable and drinkable, and sometimes you come up with something. We'll probably make that one again. Everybody likes it, so.
Yeah, well, we have an Irish stout that we make all the time called the Countdown. It was actually the first beer from when we opened that we brewed.
I remember drinking it. It was
So we made it so that way it was the Countdown to open. So just recently we made a new brew. Well, it wasn't supposed to be new. It was supposed to be the Countdown, but we kind of messed it up when we were putting stuff together, whether alcohol was involved or just exhaustion.
Never.
Whichever it was.
Yeah.
And so when we tasted it, it had a barley upfront taste. Somehow we added barley to the grapes that we weren't supposed to. So we just called it the Count Up. And so now, because the Countdown was out and it went over pretty well, it's not as good. So now the biggest joke is we got the Countdown back on tap because we ran out of it because we missed our brew. So we finally got it back on. So now people are mixing them and calling them the Count Even.
Yeah, this is just the count.
I'm going to have to try that.
So sometimes mess ups can be good. While this beer wasn't probably my favorite that we made that Count Up, it can become kind of like that social comedy discussion for people too.
What was the one years ago I was mixing with the root beer? That was really good.
Johnny's weird, by the
creamsicle.
way.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a creamsicle you were
was
mixing.
good.
Yeah, creamsicle with root beer though, it makes sense. I guess it's kind of like a German rattler, or like they mix the soda with the beer, and
Oh yeah.
which always sounds weird to me. But Johnny always comes in and asks to mix every single beer into the mug in one big
He's
King's
only
cup.
done it one time.
So before we move on to this next beer, because we were talking about beer mess ups and changes, one of our best beer mess ups that we've had here is the Boom. So that's a white milkshake stout. Went over really well whenever we made
that
it.
was a really good beer.
People like it, but it was supposed to actually be a creme brulee. When we designed and built, it tasted nothing like creme brulee. Completely off, wrong color, didn't look anything like it, but it tasted amazing. So we put it on, called it the Boom, and it actually is one of our yearly rotations now.
Yeah, it is super smooth and creamy
yeah.
and very delicious. That is a great
That's
beer.
great. Yeah.
But from a mess up, so mistakes can work out.
Yeah, let's pour
So I'll
pour the
have him
third
read
one
this,
here.
and then I do have a question for you, but I'll let him read this and pour the next selection here.
So this one is Pale 17, 7.9% ABV. We're getting closer to high gravity,
Yep.
boys. We're getting there. We're getting
We
there.
don't hit double digits this round, but
We'll
it's all
see.
good
We'll see
stuff.
about that. We'll see about that. And so this one's a pale golden body, notes of fresh citrus. Name plays a joke on a beer from a different brewery. So
We gotta hear that.
I would say I feel like I you know, maybe know the beer you're talking about. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we want to hear what's the play here with Pale 17.
Well, I know the beer. Well, you might have stumped me on the joke on the other brewery here. I have to think really quick. I do know the name. The 17 is Iowa was a 17th state. I think they got from there, but I'm trying to think of like now the story of what you're saying. Like maybe it'll come to me again. Maybe those guys didn't
That's what's
tell
in
me,
the
but-
description. This was handed to me by Johnny, so maybe Johnny knows the details.
I got this from
well.
Connor, man. Don't put this on me.
All right, great. Connor, let's loop him in.
But the beer itself, and then you guys picked a good kind of nice flow on the way you chose
Smells nice.
with the ones that you chose, because the beer is a pale ale, and it's what we were already talking about, you know. And when it went on, I was very happy. I was like, this throws me back to
Yeah.
the early days, you know, when we were drinking American Pale Ale every day. You know, that was our go-to. And then it got into the IPA thing, you know, and when you guys mentioned that all the IPAs and not liking them at the beginning, it flashed me back to the early days when we would brew an IPA and we had only a handful of people would come down to the pub and they would be very excited. We were like, we sell this stuff so much when we make it, you know, we should bottle it. And we put out Great Lakes Commodore Perry IPA back then, and it mostly came back expired. Most of it came back.
Oh.
So IPAs, we brewed IPAs for ourselves, I guess is the point. We brewed it for ourselves and the homebrew club people that would come in. And nobody liked IPAs. So like anyone out there that's
Understandable.
listening in and
Can't
like
blame them.
thinking like IPAs have always been the biggest style of beer, it was definitely not the case. And I find like a lot of brewers now are like, yeah, we have to make all these IPAs, and I can't wait to have a light lager after work. So it's
Right.
kinda
And you know,
full circle.
That's how I feel too. Like I started off like, you know, I really liked, you know, browns and stouts and porters and like just darker kind of like slightly heavier styles. And, you know, the more I brewed of them like over the years, the more and more I started to gravitate towards like Hefeweizen and Kolsch. And then when I found out I could make lagers at, you know, well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I can make lagers at room temperature. I can ferment it at 70 degrees. It is style-wise technically not a lager, but tastes the same. Then I started making lagers and pilsners, and like just that's the go-to. Like, you know, I can still enjoy a stout and everything, but when I get home from work, an ice cold PBR just goes down pretty damn smooth.
The lighter beers lately have been stuck on the Helles now.
I love Helles.
Dude.
There's
They've been going down so
there's
good.
a reference. There's a brewery in Indiana called Oberpfalz, and it's a German brewery. We go down to Indiana for Dark Lord Day every year, and ever since I brought back their 6-pack of their Helles beer, it had a barbarian woman on it with huge tracts of land, and Daryl's been infatuated with Helles ever since.
The beer, okay?
Yeah, it was the beer.
Right.
In fairness, though, their beer is, if you like German style, like lagers, Kolsch, Hefeweizens, Helles, like all that sort of, the Oberpfalz is just a cut above. Their Hefeweizen is, in my opinion, from all the Hefes I've ever had, the benchmark for what a Hefeweizen should be.
Helles is something I haven't made either, so that's something I'm looking forward to.
I've also
making.
never made a Helles, so...
Nice.
But just to go back to this one real quick, the Pale 17, so we can talk about that. The 7.9%, you wouldn't know.
No.
Like this is dangerous.
I like this beer
This
a
is
lot.
really nice.
is fantastic.
It's got a nice malt backbone to it that has
little
just that
sweetness
touch of
in it.
sweetness that really carries it. The taste or the notes here say pale golden body, but I don't know, I think it's a little heavier golden body. Like it's a little like almost approaching amber. Yeah. But like the aroma's got that like that sweet malty with just that touch of kind of like that dry hoppiness, just a touch. It's not overly hoppy. You get just a little bit of hops balanced really well with that sweet malty
Just got a
character.
good body to it. Sweetness.
It does, yeah. The body's not too heavy, but like heavy enough that it really helps carry that malt through. Like again, like we've had 3, and I'm having a hard time picking a favorite. I think
This one right here.
Yeah, you like this one?
Welcome to my problem.
That's got like, so that when I say it's a throwback pale ale, it's got like Cascade hops, the modern day Cascade hops, which I believe to. Although I sound like a customer now, and I'm like, this beer is not what it used to be. I'm like, these hops aren't what they used to be. But I do believe that there's been a shift in the just probably natural.
Well, it's tough too because the hops change all the time.
Yeah. Like even though season to season, like you got a humid season or a dry season or hot season or wet season or whatever. Like plants are going to vary.
If you want to try and do like a throwback of something you made before or recreate it, the hops aren't even the same half the time when you're getting them.
Yeah, it becomes tough. So I was like, that's why I was so happy when that went on, though, because it really had that kind of at least my palate memory of Cascade hops, and it was a nice. It was nice. It was nice for me.
This one's really good.
Yeah. I feel like you can never fuck up with Cascades. Like I've got, well, I mean, you can fuck up with Cascades, but I think as in general, like if you're a home brewer and you're at the brew store and you're like, oh man, they don't have the hop I want, just buy Cascade, bro. Like, just figure it out.
There was a one I got up actually from a hop farm up in Michigan. I'm trying. The name is escaping me, and it was at the time. This was probably like 10 years ago.
Great Lakes Hops is one of the bigger ones, but I don't know any of the other ones.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember now, but it was like
there's a bunch around Traverse City too.
It was closest to the old time profile that I know of, that I remember of Cascade hop, and it was really good. I'll have to try to look that up and see if they're still around.
See, I'm a really big fan of like the Australian hops, like Galaxies. Like, I just cannot get enough Galaxies for me.
Galaxies are good, but they have so much acidicness. I like that.
Oh, I never use them for bittering.
Flavor for it.
Yeah, I use them for like dry hop or like
even
late
dry
edition.
hopping. All that acidicness I have after. Like,
you just can't overuse them.
Me.
But I mean,
I like sticking to the Cascades, the Centennials, Amarillos.
See, I grow. I've got
Warrior Band.
I've got Cascades, Centennials, and Columbus because I live in Columbus, Michigan, not Columbus, Ohio. Every time I tell someone I'm from Columbus, they're like Ohio, and I'm like, bro, I said I live 3 miles away. Like,
I get the same thing. I live in Memphis, Michigan. Everyone's like, oh,
Tennessee?
You're from Tennessee.
Yeah,
I've been accused of having an accent.
So
before.
I grow Columbus hops. I'm in Columbus, but like Columbus hops, like they're a dangerous hop. Like if you use too much for bittering, it's gonna be bitter as hell. But if you use it for like a little bit of dry hopping, and then things come out tasting like onions and body odor.
Gotta be careful.
So they're not very useful to me. I'll say that much. But I've got them growing anyway.
So I'm going to back up just a little bit. We were talking a few minutes ago about naming beers and naming things. I'm curious now. I don't think anyone else here read the website. I was skimming over that last night. So I know about the title of Collision Bend Brewing Company. I'm curious to hear your take on it, though, or how did you guys come to that name? Why did you name it Collision Bend?
I have a great story I like about that one, because we were throwing around a bunch of names, sitting around and talking. Excuse me. I need more beer.
Yes, well, it's like 10:30 on a Sunday. You need more beer. Yeah,
we've got 3 opens.
We can't be the only one drinking. You got or a glass of whiskey. We also accept whiskey and bourbon here.
We've done that.
There we go.
Apparently, gin.
That'll help. So Collision Bend, it's 3.
Yeah, I'll take a little more.
According to me, it's 2 river bends up from where we are, where Collision Bend Brewery is. According to my son, it's 3, and he used to row crew on it when he was in high school, so he's probably correct.
I'm glad the fires stopped before he started rowing crew.
Yeah, I am too. It's a little safer. It's safer for the kids.
Might roll faster if you got a fire chasing you.
Right. But so either way, it's a river bend, and so like I said, it's industry out there still, and you'll see big like ore boats coming through. And they navigate through. And the Cuyahoga River, Cuyahoga translates to Crooked River, which was also the name of a brewery down back in the early days. There was Crooked River Brewing, which was down in the flats where we are. So that was a great place
Did they close down? Are they defunct now?
Yes. There's been some resurrections of the brand here and there, but
yeah, because I would say I've seen their beer before, but I didn't know if they were still brewing.
It pops up once in a while. Someone tries to bring it back. We actually did a kind of we called it Crooked Reunion, because I knew a lot of people used to hang, because Crooked River and the Great Lakes crews used to hang out together. We were very close to each other and do after work beers, and we were the only two, I guess not big, larger breweries in the area back then. So it was nice. I got a bunch of the crew from there together, and they came in and brewed an ESB, which was one of their popular styles in the early days, although it wasn't as real of an ESB as we can make nowadays. There wasn't as many yeast strains available either in the early days. It's like you used the same ale yeast for everything.
Oh yeah, US04 and US05 was pretty much my first 6 years of brewing.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, Crooked River was cool, but that's the Cuyahoga River's Crooked River. So you imagine these giant ore boats coming through, and they navigating around. They would tend to hit the river banks and hit people's docks, things like that. And sometimes there's a couple cool photos actually, which probably wasn't so cool for the crew of on the boats, but they would collide with each other as well, especially on this one bend of the river. It's Oxbow in the river there. It's like it was a sharper turn, and since then they've actually widened that thing, so I don't think it's as dangerous as it was. But so that's where the collision bend, that the nickname of that part of the river was Collision Bend. And years later, I actually was making a beer in the pub at Great Lakes, and I wanted to call it Collision Bend because we, like all of us do, we like to name our beers after local things. And I was like, that's a really cool name. And Great Lakes was larger by now and selling their beer in a lot of states and a bigger company than in the beginning, obviously. And marketing department that was like, we are not putting the name Collision on a beer.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
We're not doing that. So I was like, well, that's just stupid. I don't understand.
Well, yeah, what's funny is most people are not going to make that association, but I suppose they could probably go to the extent of, it's like, well, you were in a drunk driving incident and you had a little bit of a collision bend.
Oh, dude. Side note, this just happened 2 days ago, and it's in the news.
Oh.
So it popped up on our feed. Some guy got his 9th drunk driving thing out in one of the suburbs here. And in his mugshot, he's got a Collision Bend T-shirt on.
Oh, no.
So, it's going crazy around, and everyone's like, "Oh, DUI brought to you by Collision Bend."
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate you can't help stupid, and sometimes people make mistakes. Oh, it's not even a mistake. At the 9th time, it's an on purpose. But it is unfortunate.
Sent it out to us. Our sales guy sent out the picture of the news clip, and he was like, well, there's no bad press, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no. Well, it goes.
That guy's clearly a professional, so he must know good beers. So Collision Bend must have the best shit in town.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So anyway, so we're sitting around the table throwing around a lot of brewery name ideas, and at probably our 10th meeting or something, bringing it up again because we couldn't agree on anything. They were like, hey, we thought of this thing the other night. We're so close to this spot of the river. What if we call it Collision Bend? What do you think about that? And I started laughing, and I was like, they wouldn't let me name a beer that over there, and I'm just going to call the whole brewery that. And I thought it was awesome.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. That's that story. That's a good
speaking
one.
of interesting names, I do have to go back to where we were talking about the Great Lakes and how Michigan claims ownership. I always thought it was very interesting that Great Lakes Brewing being from Ohio having the Edmund Fitzgerald, which is kind of like honestly the flagship Great Lakes Brewing beer in Michigan, because that's what you see at all the stores. I mean, it's at Meijer and the other grocery stores and stuff. Yeah. And I always thought it was kind of ironic or maybe coincidental, just depending on your definition, that the Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior,
right?
Which is so far north it might as well be Canadian.
So that part of it's in Canada. Part of the
it is.
That right. Yeah. I'm a scuba diver, and that's That's my Mount Everest someday, maybe. But
Yeah.
so that wreck is actually it's split in half, and half's in Canadian water and half's in U.S. water.
Right. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So Edmund Fitzgerald, I hope they don't get upset that I talk about them still, even though I'm 8 years removed. I still have a lot of respect for those guys, and I love
Absolutely.
them.
They make great beer.
Family to me, and that's actually my favorite. Still, I think porter that there is. It's a great beer.
It's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
And that beer, so that quick story I could tell you. The Edmund Fitzgerald, the boat was in and out of Cleveland all the time. It was in port here often, and I think even in the Gordon Lightfoot song, it references it's on its way to Cleveland on that trip.
Yeah, like hauling iron from northern Michigan, was it not?
Yeah.
Or like a lot of times, like down to the manufacturing, down to the part of like kind of the tail end of the Rust Belt, like.
Yeah, and so Pat and Dan Conway, the owners, the brothers who own Great Lakes, they had the idea to name that beer. They were friends with McCarthy, John McCarthy. His last name's McCarthy. And his grandfather was first mate on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, wow. No way.
And so so they talked to him, and they're like, "We want to do this thing, and we just wanted to run it by you to think if it was okay. Like, do you think this is like offensive?" Because there all have been some feedback through the years to those guys, like, "Oh, you're cashing in on this tragedy and all that kind of stuff."
Well, 100 years later, I think it's okay.
And,
Not just that.
but
Anybody that does anything
there's been some
about
of that. So, but that's the story goes that they were friends with this guy. He thought it was an awesome idea, and so they went with it. And that's kind of where that came from, even though the boat sits in Lake Superior.
That's cool because it's funny because we've made kind of like the references and jokes a couple of times in the past about it's Lake Superior, that's nowhere near Ohio, right? It's just kind of weird, but it's always been a great beer, and like it's funny, as soon as you said there was a story about it, like me and Johnny were both like yes, like we were so excited to hear like the backstory.
Anything Great Lakes history.
I went so far as to have Dan Conway, one of the brothers, wrote a letter for me to have with me, like when I was doing, because I was like, dude, like I had somebody that said that their uncle was on it. These people were crying at our booth. They were very upset. And he's like, but it's a good story. I'm like, I know, but coming from me, it doesn't. He's like, I'm going to write you a letter that you can keep with you and give to anyone that has questions about it. And he wrote the letter telling that whole story, and I would have it with me at any beer fest.
That's awesome.
Because just in case that ever happens, it's like,
man, that's so cool. Like
that is.
I'm so glad to. Because that beer is like. I've been seeing that since before I could even drink, like it's been on the shelves.
About beer, and I remember seeing it. And
before like
predates me diving.
Yeah, before craft beer was like the thing. You'd see it on the shelves at the grocery store and stuff, and like I would like, I'm familiar with the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and like you see that, and you wonder what it is, and then I remember trying it when I was, before I was a craft beer guy, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Bud Light. Like, come on, like, and then you learn, you grow and evolve, and it's like, oh man, this is a damn good beer. Like they're doing a good job here. Like, good job.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
But so
we did another quick one. I can tie it into the collision bin thing when we first opened. That was our second round of batches of beer. So we were open and getting, you know how it is at that beginning. You're trying to like, okay, you got your beer list, and then you're a new place, so your beers are going to sell fast because people are coming to check you out. So you're trying to hustle and get that second round of brews out there too. So the second round of brew, I'm like, I'm going to do a porter. And then I hired right at the beginning, who's now pretty much runs our breweries. And this other guy, Connor, not that Connor you guys met, but this other guy, Connor, was helping us out like part-time. And they were giving me a hard time about this beer because like, oh, you're just going to brew Edmund Fitzgerald, whatever. And I was like, no, I got to make it different. And it's similar. It's similar, I'll say. It's a porter.
When we conform to,
so it's not going to be.
The water's different. Yeah. When we conform to style guidelines,
we all have. You guys, we all have. If you're using water out of the Great Lakes, you have great brewing water for porters and
Oh, yeah.
stouts.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. It's awesome for that. So.
Nice.
And now, if you're using water out of the Cuyahoga River, it's also good water. Like,
Yes, exactly. Very clean.
Nice.
But anyway, that beer I was like, okay, it was done. It was done aging, fermenting, aging, all the things, carbonating. And I was like, I'm going to keg out that beer because we didn't have a tank open or whatever. And we kegged that beer out so we can get it on tap. And we had music going. And as I start kegging, the Gordon Lightfoot ballad,
no way.
Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald comes out. And I was like, oh, real funny, guys.
Oh,
Real funny.
God.
The
That
beer is
wasn't
blessed.
They're younger than I am. That wasn't the genre of music they usually played.
Yeah.
Blasting in the brewery, and I was like, real funny, real funny, real funny. I
awesome.
get it. You guys are just making fun of me, and they're like, we did not put this on, dude. We didn't. We did not. We promise you, we didn't. So
I don't know. There's a
That's
thing
awesome.
and ours is called Bollard Pool Porter. It's
Nice.
Just to talk about my own beer for a minute. Ours is called Bollard Pool Porter. If you're ever back, give it a go. If you didn't have it while you were down there.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back in
I
the
think
spring.
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Bollard Pool is the pulling power of a tugboat.
Nice.
That's what a bollard pool refers to. So I thought that was kind of cool when I was sitting down there,
That's awesome.
filling the place out, looking up all the terms, like what can I name beers, and I thought that was a strong name for a robust porter.
Nice. Very nice.
Well, speaking of something robust, I think let's
Bring us to the last on this list.
Well, last on the list you have,
So
you got
there's-
secret beer.
I already like this name.
There's a couple descriptions
excited
there.
about it. I
So
think this is fun.
This is one of the only ones. There was an untapped description, and then I have the notes from Connor. So your choice, which one you want to read, or both, or
I'm going to read
how you
both
want it?
because you
Alrighty
gave me
then.
a piece of paper with words on it.
There you go.
So this one is 8 Crazy Nights, 8.5% ABV. So we're climbing the ladder. And the notes, I think that these ones are from Connor, if I'm correct, Johnny. It was spiced ale with notes of cinnamon, apple, nutmeg, honey, and ginger. Name based off of the Jewish holiday dessert Hanukkah apple cake. And then we've got the untapped description to go further. Is an ale crafted with warm your heart and help you survive our blustery Lake Erie winters. It is a bold and spicy with a touch of cinnamon, honey, and steeped with local Ohio-grown apple cider from our friends at Quarry Hill Orchards. That sounds pretty good to me.
That was a very good one.
And it's cold as shit out today, so so hopefully this will warm our bones.
So every time I hear 8 Crazy Nights, I think of Adam Sandler.
I do too. I think of the movie. Yep.
That cartoon movie.
That's really how we named that one. We were doing a winter holiday ale, and we were, in these parts, down in these parts in the Northeast Ohio area, Christmas ales are pretty big, and holiday spice ales are pretty big, I should say. Mostly based on Great Lakes Christmas Ale, which is the standard, I guess, at least around here.
It's very light.
It's a giant
very
thing,
flavorful.
and I kind of wanted to separate myself. I'm like, we have to do a winter, spiced holiday ale. You have to do one if you're here. If you're brewing beer in Cleveland, you have to do one.
Yeah,
or you're just missing out on beer sales, really. So, but I wanted to separate myself. I'll just say kind of the same thing with the Edmund Fitzgerald. I was like, I don't want people to just be like, oh, he just made Christmas ale, Great Lakes Christmas Ale, So
no, it's
I tried
really
to make
good.
it darker, like different beer, a little stronger, and we went with the apple thing because of the Jewish take on it. I taught our chef, restaurant partner at the time. Zach Grohl was the local, well-known chef here, and he's not part of the partnership anymore, but he's Jewish, and he was like, yeah, that's cool. Like apples. He was telling me, tell me like Jewish celebration desserts, and he was like, apples and honey is in everything. And I was like, oh, I can work with that.
Yeah.
I can definitely work with that. I'm
Maybe
like,
I'm
okay to
Jewish.
put some
I
cinnamon
really love
in
that
there?
combo.
He's like, absolutely. Cinnamon works. And I was like, okay, cool. I got it then. And that's how that kind of beer was evolved into creation, from idea to grain to glass. That's how that came about. And then the name, when I was just sitting around the table, name too, and somebody quoted the song,
8 crazy
yeah.
nights.
The Festival of Lights. Yeah.
Festival of Lights. Yeah, it's got a nice, like, really subtle cinnamon aroma to it. It's not. I've always had a complaint about spice ales. A lot of times, like, it's the spices are just like it's all spice, no beer, and the spice is really nice, balanced on this. Like, you get the spice characteristics, but they're subtle. They're not like punch you in the mouth.
There's a lot of flavor. None of it's overpowering. I absolutely love this one.
Yeah. Yep. So that's been a good hit for us. We do another more standard Northeast Ohio Christmas ale now too. We added last year called Christmas Staycation. So we have two
one of my favorite movies.
I think I saw that. I think they said it was like a little bit lighter version of this when I was down there.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's definitely lighter.
Yeah, I didn't try that one. I wanted to. I had to. It was very hard to narrow down the selection because everything looked and sounded good.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the good brewery. I mean, when I first came here, when they first opened 6 years ago, like they just said, was it the base 4 or did you have 5? I can't remember.
We had 5 because we started with the Wisdom too.
Yeah, because I did the full flight, and I've been to a lot of brewery openings, and I mean this place is like 3 miles from where I live, and just I remember trying all 5 of their beers like the first week they opened, and just being like, looked at my wife and I'm like, all their beers are good. And like normally you go to brewery opening and like you go from being home brewer to working on that big equipment. There's that adjustment period where you're kind of like learning
but our big
that
equipment is we went from home brewing 1 barrel to our big equipment of 2 barrels.
2 barrels, yeah. So well, because you guys like you
We're
had
very small.
you brothers and dad, like you were brewing for 4 people. Whereas most people, they're brewing for themselves and their friends, and they're doing 5, 10-gallon batches. And it was just, for me, it was kind of like a aha, because you try new breweries all the time, and it's like, okay, no, I see what they're going for. Like, they're figuring out, they'll learn. But no, I tried all their beers, and I'm like, well, these are all fantastic. Like, I was going to buy a mug anyway. If your beer was mediocre, I'm like, well, I'm going to join the mug club because you're the closest brewery to me in this small town. So
but that was kind of easy because we brewed for 10 years before.
Right.
And we just took our favorite beers and launched them to start.
Yeah. Well, the Woodsman is still a hit, in my opinion. Their dark lager, their Woodsman is
I'll do a quick
fantastic.
drop here. The Woodsman, as of next year, becomes number 5.
I remember you saying that. I'm excited. Like, so because that's one we always want on
We'll
tap.
always have it out here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good dark lager. Would you call it a dark ale?
Lager, yep.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful beer, and it's got a little more legs to it. It's like 7 point. There's just 7 straight up.
7, yep.
Yeah. So it's it's with a 20-ounce mug. You don't have too many of them, but you want to have too many of them.
Perfect time for me to interject another question I had for you, Luke. So I know listeners on our show know we all our roots started in homebrew. What started your roots in making beer, brewing beer, and then getting into a commercial setting like Great Lakes and then turning into Collision Bend? How'd you get started?
Oh, same. Homebrew. I started brewing in the basement, me and my buddy. And this is early days of this stuff. There wasn't a lot of micro breweries around. So we called it that back then. We had Great Lakes. We had Crooked River, I think. I was drinking some Crooked River before I got into the industry. Maybe a couple small brew pubs as well, but not very much available. So we started, but we liked it. We started liking more flavorful beers.
And like the rest of us, you probably were tired of paying $5 to $7 for a pint of good beer.
Yeah, you always think as a home brewer, when you get in a home brewer, you think it's gonna help you save money, but that doesn't that way.
Not when the equipment's really expensive, but at least the ingredients aren't too bad,
It takes a while to pay off.
If you do the math on a batch, you're like, I saved this much money, and then if someone's like, well, yeah, but how much did you spend on all that?
We don't talk about that.
I haven't saved enough money to pay for everything.
The equipment pays off over time. Yeah,
it's like a tool in the garage. You don't factor in the cost of tools to do a job.
As the hobby progressed, like I just kept buying and buying and buying, and my kegerator held 10 kegs, and I had 7 taps and nitro and everything. And I think I was just trying to flex on the boys in the brew club. Like I just wanted to be the biggest fish in the pond.
I'm saving so much much money and saving so much money.
Well, it's like working on a car. You can't count the welder, the tool set, the toolbox, all the fluids and all that. All you can do is say, this oil change would have cost me $100 at the shop.
But instead it cost me $500 and my time.
And now I got to get rid of this oil because everyone's always full.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. I have never in my life been hungover after drinking too much homebrew. I'm just saying. I think homebrew's magic.
Yeah.
And I've drank a lot of homebrew.
There's a vitamin B in the yeast.
Exactly. I've never filtered a damn thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to my
It
beer.
helps.
We have had beers with yeast in it though. That was too
we
much.
actually bought a homebrew kit. This is fun. This is a real old timer story here. Like him and I bought a homebrew kit, an early primitive, a bucket and some cans of extract kind of kit.
Like the one Johnny bought at a garage sale and rusty can of extract, and he made it anyway.
Yeah, I did. And it was good.
We bought it from an advertisement and through the mail.
That's awesome.
In the Farmer's Almanac. The advertisement was in the Farmer's Almanac.
That's awesome.
Great.
I really I sound like old Gramps over here now.
Yeah, I still read the Farmer's Almanac, as a gardener and grower, their word is gospel. They've been right for 200 years.
Yeah.
But then I was fortunate enough to meet Andy Tavikram, who was the brewmaster at Great Lakes at that time. He's at Market Garden Brewery here now. He's been around to a few other places.
Well, I imagine the circles were a lot smaller then too, when there was less brewers. So meeting a brewer, they were probably a lot more excited to meet a home brewer than someone now. You go to a brewery and it's just kind of like you're another fish in the pond.
We had the homebrew club here is called the Snobs Society of Northern Ohio Brewers, the Cleveland area one.
I love that.
Yeah, they're awesome. They were around as long as Great Lakes has been around. They actually formed, I think, a year prior to Great Lakes opening. So they had their meetings in those days in the basement at Great Lakes. So that's one of the I started hanging around Andy, and then
I imagine there's some stories there.
He offered me a job. Just a very entry level. It was a temporary job. I was like I was a seasonal, I was a landscape guy in construction working outside. So besides for plowing snow in the winter, we didn't do a whole lot. So he's like, yeah, come down. You'll learn a bunch, before you go back to work. And I ended up finding out that's what I wanted to be. So
that's awesome.
That's kind of how I ended up doing it. And then, spent a couple years in the packaging side of everything until I finally broke into the brew house and started brewing. But good times, and the good company too. They believe in further education for their staff, and they sent me to Stiebel Institute and ended up in a class in Germany. And they're really, really good to their staff. They're good people.
That's really good to hear.
About them,
because I mean, especially it's us Michiganders with our judgments of they're stealing the Great Lakes name, it's it's great to hear.
They're trying to make up for that still. That's that's why they're so good. So that's kind of how I got into it and just kind of built my career there, and ended up in various positions. I kept kind of reinventing my role there every handful of years, and ended up on the sales team actually at the end. So I was able to learn all sides of the business through
those guys.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that's important too when you want to open your own brewery, because it's
it's helped me.
It's a troublesome business at times.
Yeah.
And I would be, so I guess to kind of expand on Johnny's question there, I'd be curious about could you think back to kind of your awakening moment where it's you tried that first craft beer, or you had that, moment where it's beer's not just, hams and, Miller High Life and, so what was that for you?
For me, that was a 6-pack of Sam Adams.
Yeah, but hey,
Boston Lager. We had a little, it must have been payday. Because he didn't buy the expensive beers, and we would buy Guinness, or some German import, or try something like that, which at that time were dusty bottles on a shelf and didn't taste very good. The craft, that's another thing that the craft beer thing in the United States has done for imports. It's helped them out too, because people have taken an interest in, and through the years they sell now. So you can actually taste them, and they're relatively fresh instead of back then. bottle of Beck's or something like that, and it was awful.
I was just gonna say
cool.
Beck's as well. Cool. Yep, I was like, my father-in-law drinks Beck's now, but he's like, back in the day, this stuff tasted like shit. I'm like, yeah, because the bottles you bought were 3 years old. Like, now you like it because it's fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so yeah. Then it was one day me and my friend were in the this store close to our house, a beer store. Was looking at the stuff that we didn't usually buy while we were buying our Old Milwaukee or something.
I do love. I gotta be honest with you. I'll still fuck with the 30-pack of Old Milwaukee if you can find it. If you can find it,
come on, you know not to tell me. We're gonna do a 40s episode.
They sell it. They sell it at Neiman's, where Jeff brings us the sandwiches from. They've got it at Neiman's.
Wait till I make a road trip up your way, and we'll do something fun with a retro old beer.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm in for that.
Yeah,
I'm in for that.
Open invite, and we'll schedule around you.
Yeah, anytime you want to come up and drink all of Daryl's beer here at StarCraft, and maybe we'll sit down and have a couple Old Milwaukees to go with it.
I'm in. That sounds great. So yeah, that was it though. We saw this, and there was a tin tacker, which I actually have the exact one still, and it says the best beer in America, Sam Adams. Whatever. I was like, all right, we got to try this beer. We can afford it. We got paid today, And we sat down. We got home. And we were doing whatever we were doing, and both. That was it. That was that moment. That was that. Like, oh, this is what beer is supposed to taste.
Yeah, and it's interesting that there's still the people who like they're like, this is my brand, like I drink Busch or I drink this or that, and they never kind of had that moment. They're like, oh, that craft beer, it all tastes like this. But I find most of them, like 90% of the time, I swear, they're like, the craft beer someone gave them was an IPA, and they made the same mistake I did when I was young. You just drink it straight out of the bottle. And it's just, bitter right to the tongue. Because I remember I had craft beers and I was like, oh, these are interesting. But I remember very distinctly getting a 6-pack of Raging Bitch from, was it Dogfish Head? And I drank it. It was like 8.5%. I'm like, oh, this is going to get me drunk. Like, I'm like 21 years old. And I drink it out of the bottle. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I remember thinking, I'm like, well, wait a minute. They can make beer that's like this. This is 8.5%. Like, I could make beer like this. And I'm like, I hate this. I can make this better. Little did I know, if I had poured it in a glass, it probably would have been at least twice as good.
That one's a good beer, too.
I love Raging Bitch, yeah.
Better experience, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great beer. And the artwork sold me because I'm a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson. And one of his good friends, Ralph Steadman, who did all the artwork for that. Like, Ralph Steadman's artwork, it was political commentary and stuff, and it was weird, but it wasn't real weird to Hunter S. Thompson. Like, was taking these capsules, and Ralph Steadman's like, "What are those?" He's like, "Psilocybin." So he gives Ralph Steadman psilocybin, which is the psychoactive chemical in magic mushrooms. And after that, Ralph Steadman was never the same. Then again, I imagine you spend any amount of time with Hunter S. Thompson, you're probably going to come out of it being a little bit different than you were in the start.
I would imagine so.
The man's an element of chaos. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
So I'm gonna ring this back in. I'm gonna open up our last selection here.
Oh yes, we do have that last beer.
I'm excited and scared normally.
Yeah, so Luke knows what this is. This is kind of a signature one at the brewery down there. It's a collaboration beer that they do. Any self-respecting mechanic is gonna have a bottle of or can of the actual product in their garage, in their tool cart. I mean, you can if you got to take a
No, keep telling the story. I didn't want to vocalize.
Oh no, it was a little shorter of a story. So I was going to read.
I want to enjoy this beer, and I've been dancing in my seat here because I've drank way too much caffeine and water today.
Commercial break then? Commercial break.
I mean, we can do it.
Yeah, New Year's commercial break.
New Year's commercial break.
Okay,
we'll build one.
So hold on. So while he's doing that, I'm going to tell you my origin story.
It's a new year, a clean slate, maybe even time for dry January.
Oh, absolutely. I'm way ahead of you. This barrel-aged Imperial Stout is extremely dry on the finish.
That is definitely not how that works.
Too late, the resolution is set. New year, same great beer.
Keep your resolutions realistic with the High Gravity Podcast. We're pouring some of the finest beers all of 2026.
Cheers to that. Now pass me another resolution.
Find us at highgravitypodcast.com.
That was a great origin story, Johnny. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Wow, the people are going to love not hearing that.
You know what? You guys suck. So I'm going to start this off. I'm going to jump between a couple different descriptions on this one.
Oh, you're taking my job now too. Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, this is a special one. Yeah.
All right.
So again, any self-respecting mechanic is going to have a bottle of this in the garage. They should have a 6-pack of this in the fridge also. I'm very excited about this. And so this particular beer was twofold. Circling back to the very beginning of how this all started with the pallet story, Phil told me about this beer in particular. And this beer is what absolutely sold us on going into Collision Bend that day to try everything out.
Oh, nice.
And I've been resisting the urge for about a week to crack one of these open because I have 6 of them. So I hope you guys like them. I hope you get what it is. And for our listeners who follow, you might have seen a joke about a can of WD-40 that somebody did as a beer. And they made a joke like, I feel this would really fix things. So with that, I'm going to read Bustin' Nuts and Brewing Beers. Blaster Products and Collision Bend are bringing back Loosen Up Lager. You feeling stuck, tired, or losing your ability to loosen up? Brewers here at Collision Bend got together with the team at PB Blaster to help with your troubles. This amber lager is perfect for any occasion. Deep malt flavors
just
are
bust out the
beautifully
can.
balanced with German size, tradition hops, adding a nice earthy undertones. Blast on Cleveland. PB Blaster, Loosen Up Lager's 5.2% amber lager with hints of malt and a light toastiness. Collaboration
probably
beer
one
with
of
the
the best.
penetrant PB Blaster.
I know. I
That's
was
like the best kid I think I've ever seen.
I was just texting with my dad and my brother, and they're both, they both love to wrench like Johnny does. And I got to send them a picture of this can. They're going to love that. They're going to see it and be like, are you drinking industrial chemicals? Like, what's wrong with you, son?
There was another note on the website. I almost put it on there, and it very explicitly says, don't drink this. It's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
fine
drink
with
the
me.
beer. Drink the beer.
I
And
think
I did.
our marketing did a cool little
I have another can of this too, so pour
reel or
heavy.
whatever video on that.
Oh, there's a video?
Our marketing did a few of them. She does a whole bunch of stuff, but they did a cool one where it's actually
Great nutty aroma.
Jake, my son, and our Mark, our head sales guy, and they're working on. They got the hood popped, and they're working, and they're frustrated, throwing their hands up, and they're working on the car. And one of them is like, "Hang on, I got the solution." And he comes out with a box, and they pull a 6-pack out, and they just
Crack it
a beer
open.
That is amazing. Oh, I've got to find it. I'm finding that, putting that on her Facebook.
Drink some of this with garage beer,
Yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah.
What's the TV show where they sell stuff on?
Oh, QVC?
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, the
there you
label,
go.
like, look at this. Yeah, and it's got a
so-
nice nutty aroma to it too. Like you kind of like smell like that kind of like nuttiness. Like
Yeah, it's amber. It says amber lager on there. It's a Vienna style. It's a Vienna style lager, I would say, that we had been doing, and we thought it was a good style for that. What it was. So that was I don't know. Like in packaging breweries, sometimes you take a beer you've been making and have it one name, and then you're like, oh, this beer's going to change names and be in this package now. So that's how that one style itself came. We just thought it was fitting. We just thought it was the right beer to be in that package.
Oh, I absolutely
The
love
marketing
it.
team did an awesome job.
Oh,
on
my
that.
God, yeah.
there's a description on the can here. So let me, maybe not a description, maybe just flavor text, but we'll give this a
That's
read
what
here
I
just
want
for fun.
you to analyze the can because you're
All right.
reading in can.
There's so much on this can.
I know Luke doesn't know this,
so
but
much.
Jim's.
And all of that can, to give credit where it's due, is that's the marketing department.
Well, they're doing
from
great.
Blaster Corp.
That's
from
awesome.
Blaster Corp. Yeah, that was their thing. We're like, how do you want to do this can? And they're like, we want to do like our can. And we're like,
That's awesome.
okay, well, like,
Jim-
we're in. That sounds awesome. So
Jim is a can art guy, so this is all in your wheelhouse. Have at it.
No, this can art reminds me of like what you would expect to see a NASCAR driver's like outfit look
Yeah,
like. There's like
exactly,
logos and shit everywhere. It's like bright red and yellow and white, and then the flavor text here we've got. Are you feeling stuck? Tired or losing your ability to loosen up? The brewers here at Collision Bend got together with the team at Blasters to help with your troubles. This amber lager is perfect for any occasion. Deep malt flavors and balanced beautifully with German Saaz and traditional hops. Adding nice earthy undertones. Blast on Cleveland. So Johnny already read that part.
Johnny, it's
Very
sexier when
good,
he
yeah.
reads it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
know.
is sexier whenever. You're welcome.
You're very good. Yeah, I got the radio voice there. I
Oh,
had to
thank
do
you.
a few of them. I might hire you in to do our radio.
He's got a
spots.
face for radio, too.
Hey,
It's perfect.
you can
Yeah,
you
we
can hit
all
me
have
up.
that.
You can hit me up. Listen, I'm the most handsome motherfucker in this room. Don't you even pretend. But you can call me up anytime for voice acting work. I am glad to help. But so we've got Blasters since 1957, and we got Drink On afternoons, nights, game days, weekends. Only drink when product is cold and crisp, never warm. Use when wrenching, grilling, partying, relaxing, celebrating, or when you feel like it. Tip: cracking a cold one after a long day can be extremely satisfying. Drink responsibly. Directions: hey, enjoy. This is great.
Johnny, did I tell you I finished cloning his voice with AI?
You did not, no.
No.
Fuck you and
Yeah, those guys did a great
your
job.
theft.
I was hoping, did this one have it's not on the can, the warning that was on the website part of it, I was hoping it was on the can.
Yeah, I would say that's not the first time AI has stolen my job.
Johnny,
to be
I'm
fair.
kind of impressed. I was worried when you hid it from us. I thought it was going to be a sour or something cherry
No.
coming out.
Yeah,
And you
Derek-
actually brought something good out.
I'm
so I
working on something with
appreciate
that,
it.
though.
No, this is really wonderful. The
Oh,
the
my God,
nuttiness is
phenomenal.
nice
Yeah.
on it. Like it's got a nice just a little bit of that touch of the dry hop balance to it.
If I didn't have to go to Cleveland for it, I'd drink a lot more of it. This is phenomenal.
But
I'm
still,
glad I waited.
If you look out of all the cans we drank, I mean, the blaster one's gone, but that was just 12 ounces there.
I have another one.
But out of the crowlers,
I think they're mostly
the
empty.
Pale 17's empty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
finished that one. That
I
was
saw
good.
the last of that go off. I was very
The
sad.
other ones have about a quarter left.
Yeah, we
Oh, nothing's going to waste today.
yeah. Normally we don't finish the beers on the show. Johnny normally finishes them after the
off
show.
the air.
But
And then I'm stuck here half the day.
no, these are good because we have to drive to Ohio to get them, which isn't that far. In fairness,
Not that bad. Yeah.
but no, all of them have been fantastic. So like huge shout out to Luke and and Phil and the crew down at
Connor and team for descriptions.
exactly at Collision Bend, because all of your beers have been really really good, and so
Absolutely.
we super appreciate that that you came on with us and that you enjoyed the beers.
In case they all listen in, I'm gonna go run down the list real quick. Because Ben's our head brewer, Phil's the brewer downtown. We got Marissa, in the brew house in the production facility, along with Alex and then Jake and Mark. That's all the people. I just want to say all their names once. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely,
I'm glad for that.
Credit
Yeah,
where
appreciate it.
credit's due, because it's not a one man show, right?
No, and you
not
got to salute the people that make your brewery what it is, and local breweries, because there's so much going on in the brewing industry in terms of places that are unfortunately closing, and I think you, Luke, and Daryl are in a more unique position to kind of talk about that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so that was the segue. And I was listening.
Yeah, he caught on. He's caught on.
So,
It was such a natural transition. Like, wait,
but
what?
you know, nothing we do is natural flow. It was like chopping it up.
No.
So during the break that we started talking about just, starting the breweries up and the people that you meet and the other brewers and how hard it is to build your own brewery up, but to see the economy that it's at now and to see your friends and people brewing and open their own place start closing up, that's a tough industry. And I'm sure you've seen the same thing in your area as well. It's just been really tough lately.
Yeah, one of our good friends on the east side of town here had just this morning, turned off the light on. They had a little post of videos. Our last night was our last one. They had a nice little video thing. It's like we knew that one was coming, for a few weeks, but it's still like it hits you hard, especially when people, like you said, people in the industry and love, and we all move on to something else, and hopefully they do fine. But it's just to see the breweries closing right now is a tough thing,
and we know the work that goes in the back end
just
of it
talking
too.
about things like this and talking together and breweries working together with some of the industry things that I think help build it up that we can get back to. Just getting together, talking about beer, kind of educating some of the people again. Like I think there was a time in I'm coming up on 30 years in the industry. Like in about a week, it would have been my 30th year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
From starting as a professional, and
That's almost as long as I've been alive.
Oh, as a professional, I haven't started yet.
so I've seen the ebbs and flows, in the industry. But one of the consistent things is like people, beer drinkers, craft beer lovers, love to see people on our side of the industry,
Yep, want to meet the brewers and
they
the
love
owners.
to see
and,
them.
yep.
They love to meet them.
That's
They
always
love to
been
see
one of
them.
my favorite things. And
Oh,
like,
They love to see them
I've-
working together and
Yeah.
helping. They love that our beer community helps each other and works together, and that we're in competition, but it's fun competition kind of thing. They love to see that, and I think I've seen part of the thing I've seen is a drop off in brewers being out there and meeting the community as much as I feel like we used to. And I'm not saying that everybody doesn't do it, but it feels like less people kind of
Yeah, I think
understand
it's-
that part. And
I think it's
we
tougher
all need
too,
to
though.
start like just hitting our brewing community, their local, even like the distance between our breweries. It's nice to talk to you guys. It's nice to talk to industry people about beer and have a good time. And like this has really been a pleasure because it throws me back to those things that we used to take for granted almost, and then we have to get back to now.
Well, it's like the homebrew clubs. We a lot of us came up like brewing with our peers, and some of them made it successful and made that brewery, and like, or they just knew somebody, and it's like you get to meet that somebody. And our favorite guest here, who's hanging out in the back, like just went down to the local meadery, Schramm's, if you've ever heard of Schramm's. Like he went down to the meadery and like was just there to pick up an order, and met his daughter, then meets the owner, and like just hanging out and like having those conversations, and like that's always been super
That
magical to
realism,
me.
yep.
Yeah. And going to beer festivals back in the day, and like the brewers are there serving beer, and
Yeah, beer festivals back in the day were the thing to go to.
they were magical. I remember going to, I would go to every Michigan festival, all the Brewers Guild festivals, and then all the smaller ones. But I remember meeting people there, and then flying out to Colorado for Great American Beer Festival, and like seeing these people, and they'd like notice you, like, oh, hey man, you got to come by the booth, you got to come hang out, and then like you go hang out with them, and then you go to the breweries.
personalized.
Yeah, you go to the breweries around town afterwards with them, and like just that
more
networking in the
community
industry,
affair.
and it's been a rare opportunity that like I've come across a brewer where they're like, standoffish, or like they don't want to communicate or participate, and I think to your point too, like it's some of that community has started to fade because I feel like we start to like focus in or draw in where it's like, well, I got to run my brewery, and like I need to run my brewery.
You get in your bubble. You get in your little bubble
exactly.
sometimes, and I think we all need to get back out and like I'm trying to do some things. Well, we're always trying to do some things as a brewing community, and it's just really nice to talk to another brewer that I've never even met before and feel like that, like that's still there. It's still there, and you just have to tap back into it and keep it going. It's easy when you go to the trade show or do this or that, and everybody's gathering and you're going to breweries. It's easy to do, but when you're back in your routine of every day, we've taken to doing a lot of here around here. I am on the board for Cleveland Beer Week, which used to be a week, in October, and it was big when beer weeks were going well, and that's like everything in 1 week doesn't really work anymore, or big beer festivals don't work as well anymore.
Yeah,
We've taken to basically we do a series of events throughout the year, and they're much smaller. They're much smaller events.
Well, I think part of that too is
focusing.
the generation that's kind of preceding us, like the the one after, I don't remember, the one after the millennials, like they're drinking less.
So
like they
the
drink
new thing
less.
now that I've been asked to make, and I've never made it, and I don't know how to yet, is hop water. I mean, I could guess how to make it. But yeah, someone dropped off hot water for me because they don't want to
hell
drink.
is that?
They don't want alcoholic anymore.
The next generations they're not drinking as much. I mean, I don't know if it's like the weed industry,
fad
like
or
they're
trend or
smoking more
something.
weed, or like sobriety is just cool, or maybe just the way the economy is, they're all fucking poor, like they can't afford a
I think
$7
it's-
beer.
We,
Like
we
I
at
don't
High
know.
Gravity are not knocking if you need to be sober. We support it.
No, I mean I'm
do what you gotta
I'm
do.
totally fine with those things.
It's just the industry changing.
Even
I was
California
chatting
sober.
with a guy the other day there's offices upstairs from our downtown location, and there's a tech company on the third floor, and there's a guy that comes down and has a couple beers after work, or sometimes he brings his laptop down and has one, in the middle of the day, and he's like 26. He's like 26, and he's like, yeah, all the people I work with, they think I'm the old man, and I'm like, he's like, I'm
'Cause you're drinking beer.
26.
Yeah.
He's like, and they think I'm crazy because I like have more than one beer and stuff. And he's like, I don't understand, what's going on. I'm like, yeah, like, and as a person who creates alcohol, for a living, you you don't necessarily want to be like, yeah, we got to get these people drinking because it's like, probably not the way.
But there's a community atmosphere of it, though, that they're missing.
But on a story on that recently, so I just went down to a younger local bar in the area that's not far from here at all, and I had my Starcraft Brewery hoodie on, and I'm sitting at the bar, and there was music going on. The place was packed. Everyone was probably like 21 to 28, somewhere in there. And then one kid comes up to me. I'm sitting at the bar. One kid comes up to me, and there was older people though, but that was the majority of it. One kid comes up to me and says, "Oh, isn't that the brewery that's in town?" It says, "Yeah, have you ever been there?" He says, "No, that's where the old people hang out." I'm like,
oh my
shit.
God.
Fuck, man.
So to that concept, yes.
Fuck you, kid. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You don't know.
No. We need him to come in and bring friends.
Not him.
Let's turn him on to real beer. We'll convert him.
But like that is I mean they've
But
showed
it's that concept.
yeah,
that
they've
thought
showed
process.
they've showed the stats and everything. Like this generation, they're just drinking. I mean, you look at like, even I look at the generation like preceding me. Like, you know, I remember growing up at family reunions and stuff, like seeing the aunts and uncles. I mean, those motherfuckers were alcoholics.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, they're probably my age.
They were extreme hobbies.
No, they were
extreme hobbies.
I guess when I was a kid, they were probably in their like, you know, 50 to 60s. So I guess not that bad. You know, they're not that old by any stretch of the means. I mean, now they'd be like 80, right? You know,
Okay.
but
Okay,
like,
so they're a little bit
He's
before
okay
me.
now.
yeah, but like
Let's stop insulting the guests. We
They'd
want 'em
get
to
up in
come
the
back.
morning. They'd get up in the morning, and it was Bloody Marys till noon, and then you'd switch to your like usually it was like Miller Lite or something. You switched your beer of choice at noon, and they'd drink 20 or 30 beers. I mean, I remember my grandpa like he'd drink a fifth of Bacardi on a day, but if it was a party day, he's drinking a half gallon of Bacardi.
Damn.
Oh boy.
And then I think of my generation and like I guess more or less our generation kind of like span. We didn't drink like that. I mean, there's alcoholics everywhere. But like, and so it seems like it is tapering down slowly, but like everything about society, all of our trends are cyclical.
Yeah.
So, the craft brewery bubble got big, it burst, but that's not the only factor. Like there's people drinking less, there's the economic factor of, people making less money, can't afford craft beer. The cost of the ingredients is more expensive, so the cost of beer goes up.
And I think in Michigan, too, we saw a big change with the weed industry.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know how
and
it
that's
was
what
in
I mean.
Ohio, but
Because the newer
never saw it here.
generation are California sober. Like they're smoking a lot more weed and drinking a lot less beer, and
we
that's just
talked about
perfectly
that
fine.
before, too.
Yeah, like I like both, but I'm not. I do. I gotta kind of agree with him because like if I'm stoned, I'm gonna drink less beer. Which is probably better for everybody.
well, speaking
Except the breweries.
speaking of drinking.
So-
Sorry, go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, the thing. So the circle back on real quick. The thing about what's going on, like I said, I don't want to okay, you're not drinking as much as a generation. You're not drinking as much. Okay, that's probably a good thing. But that doesn't. So our job now becomes okay. We got to get people excited about craft beer again because craft beer is really good.
How do we
And we just have
diversify? How do we
So
The
market?
solutions are small. The solutions are small, and the building blocks are the same as they were 30 years ago. Just starting over. It's like educating. So when then he
Rebuilding,
was at the bar, and he's the only one in the office that comes down, I was like, "Hey, can I come up there one afternoon when work is done? Could you ask your boss or whoever's in charge up there if I can come up there and do a beer tasting for everybody that wants to participate, and they can taste little 1 ounce samples, and I can kind of explain to them what it is." That's how we did it
Makes
at
a
the beginning.
difference. Yep.
That's awesome.
And and I was like, and maybe I can get these people to say, "Oh, you know what, this is pretty good," and I'll have one, even if it's one, it's one.
But it's,
Yeah.
it's that
Well, good.
re-education because when we came out here to Richmond, Michigan, this is a bush.
Yeah, this is
Community.
it's
So
a
farm
small
community.
When
country
we
town.
opened, I was told I wouldn't make it 1 year, and here we are 6 years later, going on 7 years,
Yep.
still going strong.
I'm gonna
Awesome.
cheers to that. My cup's empty,
But it's the same concept. They come in here and they say, "Oh, we don't drink craft beer. Do you have Bush?" We're like, no Bush here. But try these. Let me explain them to you. And
Yeah.
you go through and you walk through the process, the
they
concepts,
get hooked.
and all of a sudden they find one that they like.
I'm gonna have all of us
Yeah,
here
'cause-
raise a glass, and if you got something there, cheers it, whatever you got.
I gotcha.
Too successful, and whoever said it
Concha.
was 1 year, fuck
Here's
you.
mine. I just opened it.
I heard that. Yeah, because when
Well, whoever told you wouldn't make it a year, tell them they can go fuck themselves.
When I
Yeah,
came
there you
in
go.
here, I came in here as a home brewer and a craft beer fan, and I thought the same thing that Daryl was told, where like it was like, hey, this is a small town, this is not the space for craft. And I can't tell you, like, fucking 80-90% of the people in here were not craft people, and now they are. And they're your craft. But that's also led them to try other things too, where now they go on vacation and they try a craft
Now it's a
brewery.
funny joke to when they go out and about, like, Daryl, sorry I cheated on you. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's an open relationship here.
They're learning that it's a hobby, and like my wife doesn't understand that my alcoholism is a convenient hobby.
It's
but
taken-
like
It's an extreme hobby.
It's taken years to get my mom to understand. I'm not going to the bar to get drunk. I'm going to the brewery to have a beer.
So
with
my wife
friends.
does art and things like that, and she asked, she's like, well, would you ever like to do anything creative again? Like, she asked me that recently. I'm like,
I want to make beer.
I was like, what do you think making beer is? I'm like, it's essentially like baking or like, cooking an elaborate meal. It's like every step of the way, the temperature you ferment at, the temperature you mash at, the times you add your hops at, know, which yeast you add, your dry hops. There's so many factors. She didn't understand that, like, it is an art.
And I love it when someone says, oh, I don't like beer. Well, you've never tried every beer
that's-
ever.
Exactly.
There's so many different styles.
I tell her the same thing.
Types.
And we've proven that so many times.
Come to a beer festival, and there's 1,000 beers to try.
Yeah.
I will find something
If you don't like it, dump it. Try the next one until you find one.
You got 1,000 to try?
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Or we go to GABF and you have 4,500 beers to try. What a terrible problem to have.
Me.
Challenge accepted.
I like this guy even more.
All right, well, hey,
So-
if you go out to GABF in 2026, we'll see you there. Like, let us know if you're going out to Colorado, because we'll meet up.
I'm going to circle this back to a little point we started earlier. We've been talking about trying different places, getting out and trying different things. I know you guys have more than one location.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
God damn it, Johnny.
It's the first time I've done that all day.
Unprofessional.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the different locations? I don't know if you guys got any special events, special whatever's coming up. As I know we're getting a little low on time here, but tell us, the locations you got, anything special going on at any of those places, and we'll go from there.
Plug your shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so we've talked mostly about our downtown location down in the Flats. It's we opened up 8 years ago there in 2017, and that's like big restaurant and brew pub. Obviously.
Beautiful facility, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. So we have all that, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. And it's summer driven, the area itself. So we work hard doing parties and things like that.
I believe it. It's definitely a
party,
busy area.
things like that, to try to keep up the. We have spaces you can have. There's office parties, holiday parties, things like that
nice.
going on. And like it kind of keeps us going in winter, and then we really have it. It's a hot spot in summer, so that's how that goes down there.
That's awesome.
And then we opened up the eastern suburb of Euclid, Ohio. It's about 15 minutes down the road from downtown. We opened a production facility, and that's where we do all of our canning. That's where we do all of our canning, kegging. We send some beer downtown, and downtown's become more a small batch place than it was because we were canning with a mobile canning company before that out of downtown. So we don't do any of that now. And we just do the specialty beers, which we also
great.
share
Bring
with our
it in
Euclid
house.
spot. So,
Yep, I love that. I love to hear that.
so we put a tap room in the Euclid spot, because it's a smart thing to do. You can make a little bit of money. And thinking, I was like, I'm
Yeah,
going to build
exactly.
some
You don't need a lot of space for it, just a little bit.
But the partners had a restaurant that had closed. And like, well, we have all this kitchen equipment. We might as well put it in. And so we ended up putting basically a full restaurant tap room, and it's more of a local feel to it than neighborhood, and we see more regulars there than we do downtown. Downtown we have a lot of folks like yourself coming in through town, and you find out about us and come find us and stuff like that. We do have, obviously we have local people too, but not that come in every day.
Yeah.
In Euclid we have people coming in every day and really getting to know people. And
That's
it's kind
awesome.
of fun. So we have both kind of best of both worlds with that. It's fun to be able to, have a regular crowd at the one place, and then it's fun to meet new people all the time at the other place. So it's
Nice.
it's cool. And it's become it's the middle of industry. The Euclid spot is in the middle of all industry around us. There's really no other restaurant and bar really close to us. And so it took a while for people to find us, but now it's got a regular steady crowd coming in. And
That's awesome.
it's been a surprisingly successful little tap room, and people are so. There's in Cleveland, it's the east side, west side is very divided, and
there's a river.
People don't. The people often go. People that are West Siders don't often go over to the East Side to go out or anything like that, or go to a restaurant unless it's something, going on. But it's a strange division in this town.
Yeah.
Not that we hate each other or anything like that.
No, well, it's like the Berlin Wall of Ohio. It's just,
it's just like people stay close to home.
but there's no better success than the surprise, though. Like to have something be successful that you didn't expect to be so successful is the greatest thing. And I mean, like we talked about earlier with StarCraft and Daryl here, like being told that you're not going to succeed, and like that's even more vindicating to know that like you opened up that space as purely a production facility, and to have it turn into something greater is just an example of how great the community can be, and also how taking risks can also lead to great success. I mean, well, great risk, great reward. I
don't know about the great reward, but it's a lot of fun.
Well,
great risk, a lot more work. Great
absolutely,
risk, a lot more work.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it always ends up to be. But so we've embraced that side of town, and I'm a West Sider, just for the record. So.
Oh, you're one of those people?
So for me, like it was like, oh, what are we doing over here? And but it's worked out really well, and I've been able to connect with the homebrew club that's over there, Little Mountain Homebrew Club. And they do their big event in the year in our space out there now. We give them space so they can do their competition and stuff. So we've been able to embrace that homebrew club the way we always embraced the snobs on this side of town.
I like
awesome.
that. I like that. That's the name.
A whole bunch more brewers and good people and all that kind of stuff. Like I think one of you alluded to earlier. It's get someone that brews beer. Usually it's going to be a pretty cool person.
Awesome.
Generally, yeah. So I gotta say, like at this point, like the brewery's about to open, so we're gonna start. We're gonna have to draw it to a close.
Right,
but I want to say though, if you're coming to Michigan for the breweries festivals, like let Johnny know. We'll get together for some beers. If we're coming to Ohio, we're gonna find you. We're gonna hit you up. If we're stopping in Collision Bend, like we're gonna ask for Luke.
And if we don't do a group thing, I'll try and bring you something down from the brewery when my buddy and I come down in the spring for sure.
But
sounds awesome.
So like I want to say like so Collision Bend, find them on Untapped, find them online.
Find them in Cleveland,
do you guys have Instagram, Facebook?
Or
you got socials?
Ohio.
All those things. Yeah,
we'll make sure John
come see us. Yeah,
Johnny will throw the links in the description below. So anyone that wants to know more about Collision Bend and Luke and the gang down in Ohio, please check out the links below. Phil. Well, of course, Phil. We can't forget Phil. He was part of the gang.
So Phil's again the root. Phil.
That's how we connected.
A Pinterest and a pallet and PB blasters. How this entire thing started.
But really, just a huge thanks to you, Luke, and we really appreciate that you took the time this morning to hang out with us and have these conversations.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
You've been fantastic. Your beer was fantastic. I have nothing but high praise for the entire experience alone here. And so really thank you so much for, taking the time to hang out with us.
Absolutely.
And
I
wish you nothing but success and the best for both tap spaces now for Collision Bend.
I'll be back at least. I'll try and drag these guys with me.
And also thank you for the stories about Great Lakes and the Edmund Fitzgerald because that's kind of a special moment for us.
I was nice enough to them, I hope. So.
No, that was a really great moment for us. Like that's something that we've
no reason for them to be mad. And if they're mad, I'm not cutting it.
No, absolutely not. No,
that
good.
Was fantastic.
They're family to me. It's all good.
It's awesome.
But really,
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
It was great to be on. It was a good time.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you,
we
sir.
look forward to the next one. Thanks a lot, Luke.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
We'll see you. Oh, and a Happy New Year to all your
Happy New
family
Year,
down there
everyone.
and everybody.
Happy New Year.
That was the whole point of this episode.
All right, thanks, Luke.
Enjoy, guys. We'll see you.
If you didn't learn anything today, at least remember this. Beer's the answer that makes everything better.
Can't remember the question, but who cares when you have a cold one in your hand?
Remember, everybody, drink responsibly, drink high gravity.
Most importantly, drink well.
Okay, not the well. Life's too short for bad beers.
Stay frothy, my friends.